Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time to talk some basketball as we bring in our next guest, Shane Stout, the head coach of the Piper High School girls basketball team. And man, Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, for you, you look at the start of your season, just a few games in, but what have you liked so far to start out the year?
Yeah, thanks for having me today. We've started out fairly strong. Faith McCallum, our returning first team all conference point guard, has really started the season out well, shooting the ball well. And we've had a couple sophomores hit the starting lineup for the first time this year, in Juliana Benedetto and Rania Hollingshed, and they've been solid. And then Briley Gerber is our forward. She oftentimes finds herself undersized with her matchup, but she just plays strong in the paint. She's been in our starting lineup for a couple years now, and we started with a tough schedule right off the bat. Seaman, and then played a really big Smithville team. Smithville had a couple 6'1", 6'2" girls, and then Andover, super tough Andover team. And then Shawnee Heights has got a new look this year. So the first four games were really kind of a brutal schedule. We thought it was a possibility that we'd be 0-4 to start the year. So to be 3-1, we really feel good about where we are, but we just need to keep getting better.
How much do you, just every year, but like how much do you learn about your team, like in those first week or two of the season?
Oh yeah, a ton. Especially this year where we had graduated, 4 or 5 really solid seniors, and we knew we had a few really excellent players returning, but we had a bunch of new pieces. We still have girls battling for that starting role, and our 6-man role has kind of gone back and forth between a few of our girls, and so it's definitely been a learning process. I'll be honest. I think it's going to take us till a week of practice over Christmas break to get us to where we're real comfortable with maybe what our roles are as a team, and then kind of fine tune it as we go.
And I know everybody's in the same boat and dealing with the same things, but like how tough is it to kind of shake off those cobwebs to start out the season?
Yeah, definitely this year as well, with Kansas adding 3 games to the schedule. So the traditional 20 games now being 23. We played Seaman on the first Tuesday night, and it typically or traditionally you couldn't play until that first Friday. So with that said, the practice schedule didn't start any sooner. We had 3 days less of practice. Tried to squeeze a jamboree in there. We had only practiced about 4 or 5 days when our jamboree came around. So it was more so of a scramble this year than any year. I know as we were going through it, I was kind of joking with a friend of mine that coaches at a school that had their boys in the state football playoffs, and he's like, "Well, at least you have your 90% of your team at practice." He had a bunch of kids that were still playing football, so it's definitely a challenge to get everything you want implemented. There's still a few things that we need to get implemented that we haven't spent enough time on, and that's why I say the week over Christmas break will allow for our schedule to slow down just a little bit and allow for us to really fine tune some of those things.
The expectations coming into the season, where were those kind of set for Piper this year?
We've been fortunate to have a good run. This is my 15th year here, and we always expect to be at the state tournament. Now we have not been at the state tournament every single year, but we are confident that we've got a team that has that ability. Right now, Andover, kind of showed us that they're probably a little bit ahead of where we are at this point. And so we have a lot of work to do if we think that we're a Final Four type of squad again. And, with that said, we think Faith is the best point guard in the state. She's lighting it up right now, 27 points a game through 4 games. And that schedule was a salty 4-game schedule that she put those numbers up against. So the other girls are really just improving and taking on their roles. A couple of them double doubles the other night against Shawnee Heights. Renia and Briley were both right there with double figures, and then a few of the girls off the bench have been shooting the ball well. So we like to think that we have that opportunity to be a state tournament team again.
You mentioned 15 years at Piper. Like, I mean, you've seen a lot of talent come in and through those doors there. But you mentioned a girl like Faith. Like, what is it like coaching, a girl of that talent, and just, what that does for a team?
Well, to be honest, as talented as she is and as well as she shoots the ball, she was 8 for 11 from 3 the other night, and she'll shoot it. She'll shoot it from way beyond the arc. We had a young lady a few years ago, Allie Vigil, had played for us. She ended up playing at Central Missouri. She could just shoot the ball from anywhere. And at first, it's a little uncomfortable as a coach to just let loose of the reins. Allie, as a freshman, would pull up from 4 or 5 feet behind the arc, and we quickly realized, like, hey, that's a good shot for her. And the same can be said for Faith. She controls the game with her energy and effort. I mean, her quickness and ability on both ends of the floor is unbelievable. But the way she's shooting the ball right now has just really opened up her game. And as a coach, you have to just kind of let loose of the reins sometimes and trust her. And she's been playing basketball for a long time and understands the game just as well as anybody that I've ever coached. So it's easy to trust someone like that.
You spent some time at Liberal High School. What was that switch like, going from the far west side of the state now to the far east side of the state?
Yeah, we had a good time at Liberal too, and had some good squads. Really enjoyed my time there. And the road trips out and the Western Athletic Conference, I'll be honest, the main difference is the road trips here. Where I'm sitting right here in my classroom, it's about 6 miles to Baser High School, and it's just right up the road to Lansing. And so the first thing I noticed 15 years ago on the very first bus ride was I got in with my coaches and I start telling one of my long stories, and I couldn't get through it because we're already at the other. When you're at Liberal, you spend all that time together on a bus and a lot of travel and those kind of things. But they really take their sports seriously out there. Really, really enjoyed the years that I had there and the people that I worked with. And a few of those young ladies actually live up in the KC metro area, and we still cross paths.
Hey, Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the year.
All right. Thanks for having us. Thanks for covering high school sports.
You bet. That's Shane Stout, head coach of the Piper girls basketball team, and we'll have more of the show right after this.